It's a big day in the crypto markets because we do have the monthly close. We also have the options expirations taking place. So I'm going to outline where the max pain level lies for Bitcoin. And then on top of that, we have some major high impact economic events taking place, that being the FOMC in the US. And there's a whole lot to discuss on today's show. So make sure you smash the like button, hit the bell notification, and then definitely subscribe to the channel. And let's get straight into the show content for today. And I do want to start off over here with the quarterly chart because it is still very bullish, right? If you look at the quarterly chart over there, of course, flipping that major resistance that's set in the peaks of the prior bull markets, now flipping into quite obvious support. And when we move it onto the monthly chart, this is what it looks like right here. Just a little bit more candles and data points that you can have a look at and see the keyness of this level, right? So as long as bulls remain above $60,000, it is still pressure towards the upside over the high time frame, but that $60,000 level must hold. We don't want to see any closing candles below that. And then the breakout level still remains pretty obvious over here. As soon as you get a monthly candle closing above those previous tops over there where every wick is rejected, that coming in the $71,000 to $72,000 region, that should lead to those big bad breakouts where you see complete acceleration of the move towards the upside. So there is a lot to look forward to, especially when you look over here at how the prior market cycles play out in terms of the funding rates. That is the interest or open interest, and you know how much leverage is taken out within the markets. And usually those major cycle peaks usually precede with very high rates of funding rates over here, with the majority of the market at least going very long. And that's not the case, right? Look at the funding rates over here right now. They're pretty much flat. When you see neutral, even negative funding rates within a bull market, that is a strong buy signal. Right now, they're pretty flat over here. I'd consider this neutral. That combined with where current price action is not really any major cause for concern, despite the choppiness that the market is currently experiencing. A lot of chop going back to the up and the downside, shaking out high leverage traders. And if we look at the leverage traders, and we actually go into the Whale Room Discord over here, we can click on this chart over here and you can see that a lot of the deltas have flipped back negative. So a lot of the traders obviously going short, and most of the time this is gauging the Binance traders, which is going to be your true retail traders out there, and they tend to do it all wrong. So it's always a good idea to look to counter trade them when this goes negative. You can see on both Bitcoin, Solana, you have 𝗕𝗢𝗢𝗢𝗦, and Bonk over here. All of those are negative in terms of what's happening with the leverage traders. So if you look at the Banter Bubbles chart, price definitely attempting to put in an hourly bounce over here. The daily still a little bit red. It did get quite sketchy yesterday. And as long as bulls can defend the wick low that we currently have set in place, I'll show you on the lower time frames, then there is still the potential that this is going to be a higher low and you're going to springboard out of these levels. There's a whole lot going on in the markets, right? We've also seen a little bit of fear coming into the markets due to the Mt. Gox coins moving. What are the Mt. Gox coins? These are coins. This is similar to the FTX collapse, right? An exchange ultimately went down, and consequently, it went through a liquidation process where creditors would receive their coins many years later. That's just catching you newer people up to date with what's going on over there. And what we've seen over here is, according to Glassnode, this is the on-chain metrics where we can see where those Mt. Gox coins go. 59,000 of those 142,000 BTC have now been distributed to creditors through Kraken and Bitstamp, and another 79,600 Bitcoin will be redistributed to creditors very soon. So the interesting point over here is when you look at this, there was always a lot of fear that there's this overhanging supply from these Mt. Gox coins that are going to go to the creditors, and the creditors being the people who used to use the exchange were receiving those coins back. People speculated that, they would view it as a lottery ticket, having got so much money back, so many additional gains, because I think that this exchange went down when Bitcoin was somewhere between $100 and $300. So you can imagine the returns that they're getting when they receive that Bitcoin back, and was speculated that they would sell into the market. This was a big fear that everybody had when these coins would be distributed. But now what we've seen is it looks like they represent long-term investors or hodlers, right? Because they were OGs in the space. They have foresight of what Bitcoin is and what they speculated would become. And so far, the cards are all on the table. It is proving to have become what they thought it would. So it looks less likely that they're going to sell. And the way that we can tell this is because they went through to Bitstamp as well as Kraken. You can actually look at the volumes on Bitstamp and Kraken when the creditors got credited their coins, and you will see that there isn't any real change in the daily selling volume, right? It's all in line with what we've previously seen. So definitely good news. And here's another tweet. This was just coming out today. Obviously more coins on the move from Mt. Gox. 33,000 BTC moved to cold wallets, and 13,000 or just over 13,000 Bitcoin moved to new addresses over there. So point being, when you see the Mt. Gox stuff going around, don't get too fearful, right? It's not the end of the world. As long as Bitcoin remains above the 21 exponential moving average, which it is above right now, and it's angled towards the upside, it remains long and strong on the high time frame. This is your easiest metric to simply just look at. You can see the way that it's reacted in price cycles. The relationship between price and that holds above, angled towards the upside, bull market, right? Breaks that back down below, angled towards the downside, bear market. Breaks back above, bull market. We are still above that level, which is a good sign. And then we can also have a look at the options expiration data, which is coming out today. In options expiration, there's a point called max pain. Max pain refers to the area or price level that the most at least options contracts will expire worthless, right? From both the puts and call side. And that max pain level is coming in today at $67,000 for Bitcoin. There it is. That is your max pain price for the monthly close. If you go through to ETH, it's coming in at 3,275. So maybe, just maybe, we'll get a little bit of a max pain scenario, get a little bit of a short squeeze up to 66,500 on Bitcoin. We'll keep an eye out on that. Fear and greed coming down more significantly over here, now to 61, almost pushing into that neutral territory, which is also very healthy for the prolonged duration of these bull markets. When you see price coming back to test key levels of support and the fear and greed resets, it becomes a great opportunity to stack those sats, right? So that is the fear and greed over there. The stock market we outlined in the beginning of July, on the 1st of July, coming onto a 9 top for both the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 on their weekly charts. And we said look for a major correction to take place. And so far that correction is still in motion. But you can see now we're starting to near some very significant levels of support. If I just take my fib tool from, of course, the bottom of this move over here all the way to the top, you can see we are hitting that 50% level right now. Not only to mention that, but on the NASDAQ, you also have this horizontal level of interest, which is coming in slightly below that. So expect that probably this week, you're going to find major support on the stock market. And then you're going to start to look for a bounce from those levels and higher prices. Also importantly, on the bottom chart right next to my head over here is Coinbase, which is now approaching that trend line. That becomes a great opportunity as well for those of you who do want exposure to altcoins, but without the danger and risk of picking the wrong one, which is very probable when you consider the hundreds of thousands, if not even millions of coins that are out there right now. You can rather buy Coinbase stock and let them do the vetting process. You're buying the picks and the shovels of the crypto cycle. And this is coming into a very key level. And I do think that Coinbase will be one of the top performers into the top of the bull run. So coming into that key zone right here, which is going to be 220, becomes a very good buy, I think, for Coinbase long term. So keep an eye out on that one. And then also looking at the RSI over here when it comes to the S&P 500, you can see for the 6th time since the pandemic in 2020, QQQ and SPY, so the stock market's performance ratio of the 14-day RSI now fell below 30, right into what's called the deeply oversold level. And every time that we've seen this particular occurrence, it's led to a bounce or an ultimate low in the market. So you can see over there, when you look at the markets over here coming into major support for these stock markets, while we see these types of signals, there is definitely an opportunity for quite a big bounce over here. And we are coming into major economic data events today. Remember, we have the US federal funds rate coming out, then the FOMC statement and conference. And then on Friday, there's some NF non-farm employment change data and unemployment rate data coming out as well. But the most important one is going to be today, which is going to be Wednesday, right? So it's unlikely that they're going to change the interest rates or that they're going to cut yet, but it's speculated that based on the current state of the markets, that Jerome Powell has no option but to give a dovish speech, which would mean a kind speech to the markets, right? An optimistic speech for the future. And that could also be in alignment with what we're seeing over here for potential stock market bounce. So keep an eye out on that. You can see 95.9% probability that those rates will be unchanged over there within the markets. But what we've also noticed within this entire chop consolidation that we've had between $72,000 and down to $53,000 for the past 4 to 5 months, what we've noticed is that every FOMC, or at least two of the three, excuse me, not every single one, but two of these three have corresponded to major local lows within the market. So the question is, will this one be any different? That's something to keep an eye out on. And we do have also the DXY, which has come into a key level over here. This is the little order block. I'll zoom in over here. That led to a little bit of a breakdown, back tested into that over there. You can see if I zoom in, and it is acting as resistance within this area. Look at that. You got those wicks over there acting as support, big push up, comes back down, back tested into that as resistance at 104.816. And as long as this comes down over here and breaks below the gray box, which we did say we expect it to take a little bit of time for that to actually play out. But once that does happen, we'll start to look for some big bad moves in crypto towards the upside. So keep an eye out on that. Also, we have other nation states coming to the party over here, with Russia now allowing crypto payments in international trade, and that is to counter the sanctions against them. The point being, you're seeing crypto used for what it was designed to be used for, right? Is freedom. And that's ultimately what they're doing, is they're using it. It just shows the mass adoption taking place. Many nation states adopting crypto, but in different forms. So very, very interesting over here. We'll keep an eye out on that. And then interestingly, in a twist of events, we had BlackRock having more flows into Ethereum than Bitcoin. That was yesterday's close for the market. So ETH flows for the first time ever coming in positive, with daily net flows of 33.67 million on the Ethereum spot ETF over there. So something to keep an eye out on. Remember, Grayscale, the ones that are dumping a whole lot of their ETH into the market to try and arbitrage, the opportunity over here with the ETFs, which are looking to absorb and buy that. They have when you're a big seller like that, right, you need equal supply on the other side to be buying from you. And now that they have that opportunity, they're dumping pretty aggressively over there. So that is something that we're seeing. And here's a visual, right? This is a nice visual over here of the impact of what these ETFs have had. This is specifically looking at Bitcoin. And what you want to do is you want to look at the little histograms on the bottom over here. You can see you got the black and the red, obviously the black being the inflows and the red being the outflows, mostly inflows overall, right? Much more lines towards the top side than the downside above that zero line. And this has been the result on price. It's for sure had a pretty substantial impact, right? So if you start to see the same thing taking place on ETH, that could be a very, very positive sign. And when we look at the ETH chart, what we're noticing is on the daily, it is attempting on the right-hand chart over here to put in multiple higher lows. And we're waiting for a break above this $3,550 level, which will start to confirm the breakout. So this is going to be a major resistance area over here, 3,550, break above that. And you've broken above the yellow box, which is actually on your weekly mid-range level, which has a lot of significance. And you'll be looking for continuation from that point, right? So something like that, things could start to get going. What you're noticing over here as well is you can see on the ETH BTC chart on the daily, you're also attempting to put in higher lows, and you have a mini little fair value gap over here in the blue, this area over here, where price has come back down into that and starting to bounce off of that zone. So we'll keep an eye out on this chart. Remember, I did start to add to my ETH position. I think it was not yesterday or the day before. I think it was the day before yesterday. So I have started to add into this position in anticipation that we're going to see ETH pick up and hopefully break back above the mid-range, and then we'll see some continuation. By the way, for anyone out there that's new and has never watched the show, firstly, please smash the like button. Secondly, hit the bell notification and subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified anytime that I go live. And then secondly, also make sure that you join Whale School, right? Whale School is my free trading school. Again, you heard that right, completely free. You don't have to pay 1 single cent. I could have easily charged $5,000 for this, but it's all my information in here totally for free. Thankfully, it's covered by the sponsors, right? They are sponsoring you to do the course, and we are attempting to change as many lives as possible. This will help you to, lead your own financial freedom journey where you can go from A to Z, knowing nothing to knowing hopefully much more than enough to lead you into being a professional trader. There is a link that's in the description below over here. All you have to do is go through to Whale School, click on that one over there, and sign up while there are still spots available, because we have limited capacity when it comes to this. You have 14 days and 8 hours left to join into that. So make sure you take advantage. Also, let's have a look at this. The hash ribbons buy indicator, remember, that's in full force. What that suggests is that we should not break back below these lows over here. And this has got over a 90% hit rate. It's only failed 3 times ever in all of the signals that were ever given. We don't want to break below these candles over here. Price needs to hold above. Now, could you come down one more time and see something like that? Absolutely. Remember, I spoke on the weekly time frame of the significance of holding above $60,000. That is important. But personally, what I would like to see is a high-low form right here now, leading into the end of the week as a strong candle, especially if we get a strong monthly close. That will be looking even better. Now, the hash ribbons indicator is based on the miners, right? The miners turning their machines back on and becoming profitable. And if you look at the Bitcoin miner revenue as per Plan B, who always has very optimistic, highly bullish targets, but nevertheless, let's analyze this and see if it's a little bit more realistic this time. He says the miner revenue bottomed after April 2024 halving, and he says he expects that Bitcoin price will actually double from today in 3 to 5 months. So $140,000 Bitcoin in the next 3 to 5 months. The question is that possible? Is this realistic or unrealistic? And that was posted now on the 29th of July. So it's not like this is an old post or anything. Is it possible? Let's get into that. Is it possible is the question. Well, if you go to this chart over here, the fact that you've spent so much time over here, and we can go back on the 3-month chart, look at how bullish that chart looks. This is very, very bullish, right? You have a strong close over here. That's 3 months, 6 months, and coming into 9 months within this area. Now, the expectation would be that you should have expansion some point within the next 3 to 5 months. I do agree that you could have expansion to 140K. That I'm not so sure of. I'm not going to stick my neck that far out on the line yet. That would give you, pretty massive price appreciation from current levels, 111%. But I guess the question is it possible? And I guess the answer is it is possible, because when you realize how small crypto actually is in the greater scheme of things, and we'll start to break that down today, then you'll realize how it is possible, right? If you look over here from 𝗕𝗢𝗢𝗢𝗍 letter, breaking the Magnificent 7 stocks have now erased a combined total of $2.6 trillion of market cap just over the last 20 days. So give or take about 3 weeks, $2.6 trillion in these top stocks that have been wiped off the table in just the form of that very, very small pullback that we've seen in the stock market. Nvidia, Microsoft, Amazon, Google, Apple, Meta, and Tesla being those Magnificent 7, pulling out $2.6 trillion. Well, the question is, how big is Bitcoin as a market cap? Well, you can see over here the Bitcoin market cap is 1.3 trillion. So you could almost triple the Bitcoin market cap if you just move some of those flows from the stock market's Magnificent Seven into crypto. If you look over here at ETH, well, that's only a 400 billion. It's not even at a trillion yet market cap. So there is definitely massive potential for crypto. And we are just a very, very small fish in a bigger ecosystem. To give you some perspective over here, there's approximately $900 trillion worth of investment assets in the world. And at $67,000, that puts Bitcoin at only 0.15% of that, right? 0.15% of the 900 trillion. And Bitcoin could suck a lot of that liquidity in over the coming years and decades, right? So long term, I couldn't be any more bullish, right? But in the shorter to medium time frame, I have to be real with you guys, and we need to trade the charts that are in front of us. At 1%, that would put Bitcoin at a price level of $428,000 per Bitcoin. Let's take this a step further and give you some visual perspectives of how small Bitcoin is within the world, right? Now, if you look at this over here, each of these little squares represents $100 billion, right? Each little square is $100 billion. That's what sports teams look like, right? This was cryptocurrency, but in the 2021 peak, that's what crypto looked like in terms of its market cap. And as you go down, Russia versus Ukraine, GDP, the military spending on US, China, and everyone else, various currencies across the world, which I will remind you devalue into nothing, right? As more and more money gets printed and they take on more and more debt, this becomes a black hole that just evaporates over time, and you're better off putting that money into crypto. There's your gold market cap. You got jewelry, bars and coins, central banks, others, and the below ground reserves, right? World's billionaires over here. Next up, you have central bank balance sheets, which, as I reminded you, keep going up and up and up. You have the S&P 500. You have over here the US versus China GDP, and then the global money supply, stock markets across the world, global debt, which it just also keeps increasing, and then global real estate. Look at that, agricultural, commercial, and then global wealth across the various different continents in the world. So derivatives markets, notional value of those derivatives markets, and imagine Bitcoin just captures a little bit of this, right? Imagine Bitcoin just captures a small percentage of all of those assets. Where does that place Bitcoin? That is the question. So we're coming off low volatility. There could be some massive moves right off of this low volatility. I will remind you, this is the lowest volatility that I think we've actually ever seen for Bitcoin. It's the absolute tightest that the Bollinger Bands have ever been, which signifies an absolute behemoth move. So again, answering Plan B's question, is it possible to double in 3 to 5 months? Absolutely, it is definitely possible. Price coming back into the middle Bollinger Band over here at $65,628. That is going to be support on the weekly Bollinger Bands. We still have the Renko chart, which has got green across the board over here, all coins showing green, and consequently, I'm still holding my long trade over here. This is the leverage position, which I will tell you got super sketchy this morning. I updated the Whale Room community already, preemptively letting them know that I may just get stopped out. And you can look at that to my stop loss over there, that missed it by 0.12%. So nevertheless, I am still in the trade. Now, you may ask and wonder, why did I not just close this trade when I was up 14, 15%? And the answer is that I'm looking for a bigger trade. I'm looking for a much bigger trade based on the breakout of this volatility expansion. I'm okay to manage the risk and stop out at break even, which this would be. I raised my stops above my entry. I would actually stop out in slight profit, and I'd rather attempt to re-enter, trying to get the perfect trade where I break out of this and we look for major volatility expansion, and I can hold that for the rest of this bull run sometime into next year. That was kind of the aim. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Nevertheless, I'm trading this for the Banter Cybertruck giveaway competition, valued at over $100,000 for a Cybertruck, by the way, guys. And there's not that many people participating, which opens a massive door of opportunity for you. Use the link below. Sign up first to Bybit. Using that link, you claim your sign-up bonus of up to $30,000 worth in terms of a free gift from them, depending on how much you deposit. Once you've signed up and made a deposit, come through over here to click win a Tesla Cybertruck. If you don't want a Cybertruck because you don't like Elon Musk or Tesla, then it's fine. You can take the cash prize, right? The equal value of what that Cybertruck costs. They will deposit that into your Bybit account and you can use it to trade with. You can buy whatever you want. It's there for the taking, right? The odds are very, very much in your favor with only 114 participants. I don't know if there's something wrong with the sign-up process, but I feel like those are very, very, very low numbers, you know, and all you have to do is get the highest P&L, highest percentage gain will win the Cybertruck. So if you guys don't want to win it, I will. Right. Looking over here at the ADX, the average directional index, moving towards the upside. DI positive is the green one, still above. We do need to see that start to move back up again. You need to see this twist up, and we need to see constant bidding and momentum coming up while the DI negative comes down over here. This just helps to identify the momentum in the market. And so far, there is an edge for the bulls, right? A slight edge, but they're holding on by an absolute little thread. So they have a lot of work to do. The upside liquidity is stacked there on the 3-day, but if you go on the lower time frames like the 24-hour, you can see a lot of people did start to open up long positions down here in the form of liquidity on the downside, 13.5 million. On the top side over here, 13.5 million. So expect that chopped consolidation to continue. Bouncing between the top and the bottom over there is totally in the realm of possibility. The rest of the altcoins in terms of their funding rates, well, they're pretty much flat to negative, right? Again, showcasing in alignment with this chart over here that we're nowhere near the peak of this bull run, right? You expect very, very, very high funding rates to peak before you set in the cycle top, because obviously all these players are opening up massive positions and we haven't seen that, right? Retail are not here, which is why it will really help me if you guys smash a like button, because that helps to get the retail here. What you can also do is share this with 2 or 3 friends and let them get into crypto now rather than later. And then especially when they go for, if they go through to the earlier part of the video where I spoke about Bitcoin and how much it compares to the asset classes in the world, if it just captured some of that, that would be a great segment to share with the newbies that you want to come into the space now rather than later so they don't get wrecked. All right. The chop consolidation has been for 139 days in motion over here. And we said we're still expecting a break above here. So this is a better visual. Why am I continuing to hold that leverage position? Because I'm looking to get this, right? I want to see the breakout from here. You might chop in and out one more time. But when you get the expansion out of this long-term range above this level over here, it's going to be pretty explosive. And I want to be holding some beautiful positions into that. So that is why I continue to hold that position. Price is bouncing off of the mid-range. You can see over here, we've got our mid-range, range low, mid-range, range high, and your pivot level is slightly above, which needs, price must get back above that at $67,000. That will shift your RSI back towards the upside. You're above the 9 and the 18, or not above the 9, but you're bouncing off the 18 exponential moving average. If you get above the pivot level, you reclaim the 9 as well, and then we can look at continuation higher. So here is your Bitcoin chart on the 4-hour time frame. Price obviously has lost the 50. You need to get above that, similar to the getting the RSI back up and above the pivot level. This would help if you got back above this zone over here. Momentum will start to shift up. I also had a look over here at the futures chart, the CME futures chart, and you'll notice over here there was a bit of a gap fill, right? The gaps don't always get filled. There's your CME gap. Price came into there. You got the perfect gap fill, and you'll notice the difference between price on the CME chart, which is this one, versus the spot chart. It is already above the 50 EMA and moving up. But I will warn you, if we keep rejecting and we come down one more time, there is actually another massive CME gap, which is situated over here between $58,000 and $60,000. Now, I wouldn't rule that over if price does come down into that level. All that I would say is that as long as it did it very, very quickly. So if you had some sort of a push-up, rejection, came down, and you came down very quick and immediately spiked out of there, it would be okay. But I wouldn't want to spend any time down into this level. Now, CME gaps have a high probability of being filled, but there's no guarantee. I've seen many gaps never ever get filled, right? So what is a fill? Well, if you look towards the right-hand side, nothing has come back into this level. So full would be if price came all the way back down into that zone, you'd consider that CME gap filled. So something to keep an eye out on. Let's quickly look at Ethereum. Still looking to put in the high low, putting in a big move over here, needs to get above all of this resistance, and most notably above the white line, which is going to be 3,550, which we spoke about earlier. So you can see a massive flush in the leverage. If we quickly use a vertical line over here and we mark this off over here, you can see that pretty much marked the top, right? Open interest building all the way up to 223,000. Price peaks over there just below 70,000 and gets flushed all the way back down. But all the moves were established when the open interest got flushed this low, and you can see longs are attempting to take control over here in the form of spot and leverage, while the open interest is hardly even moving, right? It's still pretty low over here. So it's been reset is the point. It's been reset over there. Okay, total 3, we're still waiting for that to get in the yellow box. Solana looking pretty good over here. We can have a look at some of these coins. What else do we have? Okay, Mantra coming down back into that key level. Ondo. Okay, also important zone over here. You do want to see a low found on Ondo. How's Ton doing? Let's see. Okay, Ton. So Ton is holding the mid-range over here, but if it loses this level, if it sets in a lower high, I would expect that Ton could potentially come all the way back down to $4.79. So do keep an eye out on that. That is an important one to be looking at. Okay, Injective. Let's quickly view Injective. How's that one doing? Okay, still okay over there. Everything is just all very, very choppy. How's Chainlink? Okay, still looking for this level to hold as a major low at $13, and then a big push up, continuation higher. What else? What else have we got over here? Okay, let's quickly review Brett. So more or less the same place that we entered. Still waiting for Brett over there. Bonk. Okay, Bonk still in the long trade. Waiting for that. Book of memes. This one's flying. This one's got a lot of volatility. If you're looking for quick trades, you want volatility and momentum. Has this got volatility? Yes. Has this got momentum? Yes, it does. It's broken the downsloping trend line. Theoretically, you could easily go long with a tight stop below the exact low that we've created over here. If the rest of the market starts to bounce and we put in a bit of a short squeeze, as we discussed over here, due to the deltas over here in Wellroom, then we expect that, something like this will definitely get moving. So that is worth keeping an eye out on. Let's see, what other ones have we got over here? How's PopCat doing? Okay, also looking at a major low over here. Let's just move that up and see, did it wick into that zone? Not perfectly, but this is a key zone. This is a key level. I'll be looking for higher lows to be formed over here on PopCat. Resistance dog, probably better shown on this chart over here. Here it is, resistance dog, there it is. This is one that I'm playing as a higher beta play against, of course, Ton. Telegram coin, right? Coming into a key range low level over here. I want to see that level at 50 cents hold, and then hopefully continuation higher and push up from that level. I'd also want to remind you, for those of you who want to short meme coins, if you think this is all absolute rubbish that's going to zero, there is a good opportunity for you. It was just announced that the Solana meme coin shorting platform called 𝗙𝗢𝗢𝗢.fun. It went live in beta today, so it's not in, be careful, they're still testing it, so you don't want to go in with too much money, but you can short the coins that you think are destined for absolutely zero. That is going to be 𝗙𝗢𝗢𝗢𝗢. Go and check that out. I'll follow them over there. Let's see. Let's quickly have a look if there's anything special over here they mentioned. Oh, I love it. Okay, let's see. What have they got over here? We love JEETs. Any platform data that I want to see over here if they're actually shorting the market. Anyway. Okay, what else have we got? Bitcoin dominance over there. Whale School, I'll remind you again, guys, join Whale School. Join Whale School. It is totally free as soon as this video ends. Also, send this to your new friends that want to come into the market. Help people out, right? I'd rather get them into the market now than at the exact cycle top. Send them that. Okay. Let's see. Altcoin requests. What have you guys got? I've given Brett. We already did it. Ping. Let's see, Peng, still same place over here. Still looking at a major high low in the making for PayPay, the Chinese Pepe coin, coming into major support. Parallel channel moving towards the upside over there. So looking at price to move up over there. Let's see, is there anything else sticking out like a sore thumb? Let's check Rune. I haven't looked at Rune for a bit. Let's see what Rune's doing. All right. Okay, Rune still, the long trade is still valid, right? Still valid, very much valid over here. You're looking to scale in anywhere within this region and looking for a nice big move towards the upside. TP1, which is take profit 1, coming in at 551. TP2 or take profit 2 coming in at the range high over here at 720, right? 720, that's going to be a key level. Let's see, what else have we got over here? Anything noteworthy which we should pull up? Okay, I see someone wanted 𝗦, so we'll go to 𝗦. Yeah, still kind of chopping around, needs to break above the pink box, which is coming in at 16,929 are the last 5 digits. How's about WIF? Okay, WIF, holding the range lows. You can definitely scale into a position anywhere from here. This is, you're looking for a higher low to be made. If you wanted a super tight invalidation, theoretically, you could do it like that. But I would just leave it broad and try and scale into the position over here on WIF. Also looking for a bigger move up. Okay, oh, 𝗓𝗢𝗢, yes, we have to go to 𝗓𝗢𝗢, guys. 𝗓𝗢𝗢 did make all-time highs, right? Look at that, absolutely pumping. One of my top 4 positions in terms of position sizing. Huge trade over there. I spoke about a whole lot, telling you that if you focus on this candle over here, you've pushed up, you've back tested into support. This is an easy long trade with invalidation below, and you can trade it up to the fib extensions, right? So if you got in on that next candle, already that would have presented a 3.5 to 1 risk to reward ratio, and you do have continuation onwards and upwards, and you can target the fib extensions, right? So we can look at some target levels very quickly. Let's just grab this. Let's grab some target levels over there. Okay, there we go. So targeting up to 23 over here, that becomes the target for, of course, 𝗓𝗢𝗢. There we go, into that zone. That presents an opportunity for another, if you're already in this trade, I wouldn't necessarily buy it here now, but if you're already in this trade, another 15% further upside. All right, let's go to Pendle, because this was also one of the top performers. How's Pendle doing right now? All right, Pendle. Okay, sluggish and slow, right? Sluggish and slow. That's the level that we said needs to break above to get momentum back up. You need to get above $4.21. It's still the same zone, right? You did come down into the range low. Is it possible you come one more time for a bit of a deeper sweep? Absolutely, that can happen. You could see something like this, right? You could definitely see something like that. Alternatively, look for the higher low to form over here. Wait for the break above. There we go. And then continuation higher. Then you're looking for a W formation, right? And then you need to break above the neckline. And then you need to get above this for higher prices. Okay. Okay, Maker, let's look at Maker. That outlined this as one of the strongest coins out there, and it still looks to be proving to be the case, right? I gave a list in one of the shows a couple of weeks ago of the top 10 coins, and Maker was on that list as one of the coins, and look at it go, right? Putting in high lows, pushing up over here. Once you start to break above 3,362, you will be looking for much bigger moves. Okay, we can look at 𝗬𝗓𝗡. We can look at 𝗬𝗓𝗡 as well. See, that's one of the questions over there, 𝗬𝗓𝗡. And then, guys, I do want to also just remind you, jump into Whale Room if you do want to further your education, if you want to learn more. We have multiple traders, not just me. We have 𝗓𝗓𝗓, Josh, Farouk, Chris, and then myself over here. So you have 5 top traders which will guide you along the way, all different trading styles and strategies. There's a lot of value in there. I do live sessions 3 times a week, and other traders are doing live sessions too. So pretty much every day there is something there for you. And let's go to 𝗬𝗓𝗡. Okay, 𝗬𝗓𝗡 USDT. How is this one looking? Okay, there we go. That's the level that we said must hold. So I said you could theoretically start to reestablish new longs if you took a little bit of profit here and you want to re-add. This is kind of the zone where you want to see price hold at $28, $29. And you're looking for a push up to your next resistance at 41. That's going to be the zone, $41 over there. All right, that is for 𝗬𝗓𝗡. What about Aether? How's Aether doing? Okay, let's just quickly pull this across. Okay, so back inside the range. I mean, if it comes back down to 0.06299, that's your range low. You'll find a little bit of support over there, and then just have a look for a bounce. So that's it from me, folks. I'll see all of you on the next one, which is tomorrow. I hope you all have an absolutely lovely day, and cheers for now.